Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Gaming. This is Play Dead Live Tag Team Special Reveal. This is our Selection Sunday event. It's going to be a lot of fun. First of all, hopefully you guys are having a very, very relaxing, awesome pre-4th of July celebration. If you're not celebrating Independence Day, then hopefully you got a reason to hang out, have a good time. This is going to be a mixed stream. So we're going to do reveals. We're going to talk a little bit about the game. We're going to talk about rules. Some things happened the other night. They were matches. Both teams were kind of doing it equally, but I did think it'd be a good time to sort of reel back in, get back to a little bit of the rules, the conversation around that. Talk about kind of the state of the game, where we're at. There's some brand new items out there. They're going to, I think there's probably two parts. Some people had the items, didn't necessarily want to reveal how they're going to play the items too early. They might want to be saving them for tournament. But, it's going to be kind of open for them tonight. So if you guys have questions, we're going to talk about that. We talk about how I view a match. We're going to talk about scoring, what you should be doing behind the scenes, getting your gear ready, making trades. So it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't want to spoil too much. Well, first of all, I had a great time last night. Great to get all the Walking Dead fans back together. But, I won't say I have any more fun doing Walking Dead streams than I do Play Dead Live. I love them both. Anytime we get the opportunity to get together and talk about gaming, talk about a TV show, whatever the case may be, I have a good time. So and I'm having a good time today. And not going to lie, I'm having a good time with this margarita. So if it's early, so you never know. I think I'm good. But we'll see if the stream gets a little slower. If I happen to fall asleep, then you'll know that I had too much time with this margarita. So let's start out with a little bit of business. I think, Kel, we're looking at about 6 boxes. We're not doing any event tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be completely hands off. Now I will be doing some work in the morning because I got to be honest. I've slacked a little bit on your inventory. I knew you guys didn't have matches till Monday, and I've been doing some yard work. So I finally did some things to catch up I'm doing some landscaping. I'm teaching myself some landscaping stuff. But that means tomorrow morning is going to be a very early morning for me. So if you guys are up super early and you want to start sending me messages 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, that's usually my typical day. But I will be at it very, very early. So my goal is to have you guys your inventories probably early afternoonish, and you can start working on your brand new character record sheets, any items that you want to trade. I saw some of you guys sent me some information today as far as sending stuff to your faction banks, so super cool. Thank you for that. And I'm going to go through. I got a lot of, obviously I got a lot of messages to go through because there's trades, there's gifts, so on and so forth. So I just want to get that called up. And if you do find some mistakes tomorrow, then shoot that over to me so I can get those corrected as well. I do have a question because you guys know some of our vendors, it's a little bit tougher to get some of the items in. Did anybody get anything cool in the mail recently? I don't want to spoil it because some of you guys are traveling. Some of you guys are out different places. But did anyone get a PDL item maybe sent to you that you were or were not expect? All right, well, hold tight. Just hold tight a couple days. You'll see what we're talking about. Anthony picking up another box. There you go, my man. Appreciate that. So, Kel, yeah, it looks like we're down to about 8. So whatever we sell, any super chats tonight, if you guys want to get after it early Sunday morning, that's fine. Remember, 15 box cap. 15 box limit. So that's 8 right there. We are halfway through, over halfway through. So that leaves us 7 boxes. No, wait, that's backwards. That's 7 boxes, I think. 8 boxes left. Kel's got the totals. But anyway, you guys check your mail over the next couple days. If you're in a faction, hopefully you like what you get. There you go. Julia Muse finishing off her box. So by the end of the stream, Kel, if you can give me an updated total and just let me know where everybody is. As a reminder, our Sunday event is going to be a pretty quick event. So we're going to breeze through 15 boxes fast. There's going to be a lot of T2 gear in those boxes. There's going to be some PvP stuff. There's going to be other pieces. But it's going to be a good opportunity for you guys to jump in, get your Bionic pieces, and hopefully get up to ATT 15 and start to deck out some full T2 gear. Might be a legendary or two in there too. Just have to wait and see. All right. I wanted to talk for a few minutes because, well, one, I like to talk. But number two is I was originally going to do this chat at 9 o'clock. Not everybody reads posts that are on the Facebook page. Not everybody sees the reminders. So I want to stall a little bit, answer some of your questions before we get to the official reveal. I see Football Master. I see Ocean Man. So we're going to talk about the standings. Now, the way I did the tournament, I wanted to do the tournament where everybody had an opportunity to get in and compete. However, there are some teams that either overachieved, underachieved, or just aren't geared to battle the number one, number two teams. I mean, that's just the reality of the game. It's getting closer. I see Amy finishing off a box, Father Ron finishing off a box. So it looks like those numbers are getting there. And again, if we hit 15, anything over is going to next Saturday's event, which will be different. It won't be, I won't announce that it's a T2 event. Next Saturday, there will be some T2 gear out there. But this, I'm officially throwing down the gauntlet saying there is going to be snow gear, jade gear, amber gear, orchid gear. You guys saw those orchid boots the other night. So that's really what this is going to be all about. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. So I'm going to address this at a really, really high level. Number one, the most important thing to me as you get your seedings, as you play, as you compete, is sportsmanship. No doubt about it, sportsmanship is the most important thing. There will be two champions. There will be two different tournaments. That means every other team is going to lose. Those of you in this stream, it's likely almost all of you are going to lose. So that's a sobering reality when you compete in sports. You don't want to, but it's the truth. When you go in with that mindset, you don't go in to lose. You go in to give it all you got. But the expectation is when we call the match, you walk away. You're a good sport. You do the best you can. That's number one. Number two, I want to address this because there's several things with rules. I have no interest or preference in who wins the tournament. My best tournaments are fast-moving tournaments where people play the game, they know their moves, and we get to the end of it, and there is a decided winner. Those are the best matches for me to call. Not, I thought this did that, I wasn't sure about this, why didn't I play these four moves, why, so much, and I get it. There's going to be questions with the game. But the best games for me to call are games where it doesn't make any difference who wins. It's a smooth flowing game where people are active, energetic, they know their moves, they know when they make good moves, they know when they make bad moves. And at the end of this 2-week tournament, when we crown a champion, that's my expectation. Bonnie's been there before. She knows what it feels like. Some of you have been close and you've lost. You know what that feels like. Some of you have been knocked out in the first round. You know what that feels like. So there's going to be all this range of emotions. But the big thing to remember is, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be doing Faction Wars. Friday night, we're going to be doing a treasure map event, and we're all going to be fighting together. Now, with that being said, number 3, seedings were very, very interesting. And there's no... When I did the seedings and I went back and looked at it, there's probably going to be a couple of people say, wow, I can't believe I'm playing that first person in the first match. Well, look, there's a lot of good teams out there. So when you see how these are stack ranked, I don't know there's anybody you want to play in the first round. I mean, who wants to play Bonnie? Who wants to play Kel? Who wants to play Will? Who wants to play Father Ron in the way they're playing right now? Who wants to play Dallin Mist? Or Tammy? Or who wants to play Gemstone and Julia? There are no easy matches. So you're going to look at these seedings when we do the reveal, and you just need to pull out your notebook and do your homework and get ready to go. Kel picking up box, B-Dub picking up a box. So we're selling out fast. You guys know we'll sell out. I mean, we'll sell out 15 boxes by Sunday. We're probably close. We're probably within about 5 boxes. Now, there are also going to be 4 teams that did not make the Group A tournament. I took 10 teams, stack ranked them, put them in the tournament. I looked at win-loss record. I looked at points. I looked at head-to-head battles. And I bracketed them. And I said, there ain't no way that we're not doing 2 tournaments. And I took the other 4 teams, and I ranked those in order of best to worst. And we've got 2 different tournaments running. So you might have made Group A tournament. You might have made Group B tournament. Doesn't matter. You still need to roll up your sleeves, go out there and play and win and have a good time. All right. Let me go over a couple of things. All right. First of all, yes. I want to remind you guys a little bit of the past tournaments because I love the past tournaments. I love our PDL history. I love to look at the weapons that you guys started out with, the PvP scenes, the rules, the weapons you were able to use, how many weapons you have now. And of course, it's all about that Play Dead Live PvP Championship, right? Here's a list. This is our 3rd season. Season 1 singles went down to the wire between Bonnie and Gemstone. For much of the season, Gemstone was playing average. She was playing okay. And then all of a sudden, she went into the tournament, and you guys might remember, she went full black reflect gear. She pulled a big upset in the semifinals, cruised into the finals, and her and B-Dub had a great match, and Bonnie was a little better on that day. And then we moved to tag team. In tag team season 1, some great teams there as well. Went down to the wire, and again, a epic finals match. Epic finals match between the Twisted Sisters and what turned into Hellfire and Brimstone. They were Jim and Mod, but a great, great match. Very close match. And the Twisted Sisters won the title. Now, some teams might get a little comfortable. Say, you know what? Hey, I got a singles title. Now we got a doubles title under our belt. But not the Twisted Sisters. The Twisted Sisters ran the table And you can see the only team six and 0. 6-0, good competition all throughout Group A, 32 points, a big 13-point differential. But Manic Mayhem was right on their butts. Manic Mayhem ran into a little bit of bad luck. Tommy's been under the weather. Hopefully he gets well going into the tournament because there's a lot on the line with Dimes and Tank. And then you look down at Group B, and you've got Masters of Faith at 5-1. But they lost a head-to-head tiebreaker to Mystical Storm, even though they had a better point differential. But then you look at Tin Rod, and oh my goodness, look at the point differential on Tin Rod. 4-2 with a 22-point differential, but the Killer Bees beat Tin Rod. So there's a lot of things that we had to consider. The Outlaws, who the Outlaws played, who they won against, who they lost. Lost Soul Sisters, Smiling Moons, Knox Landing. Tough season for Knox Landing. And -7, but also there were some nights that it was tough for them to compete. So they had a couple forfeits thrown in there. So how does that all go to the equation, and what is going to give us the best possible tournament? So, are you guys ready to find out who made the group of 10, who is in the group B, which nights you're playing, and who you might be up against? If you guys are ready for that, let me know, because this is really what tonight's event was going to be about. This is our first ever tournament reveal. We've never done it like this before. And I think once we play Faction Wars, I think you guys are going to be very, very anxious to get back into tag team, because the season is important. Who you play in the tournament is important. Your path to get there is important. And some is going to be funny, some is going to be good news, and some of you guys are going to be like, oh my goodness. All right, here we go, everybody. There you go. All right, so starting out, there's probably very little, and I will give you the justification of why each team ended up seated where they are. The challenges the team faced. It's not about gear. It's about battles, how many battles you participated in, who you beat, how you beat them, did you barely beat them, should you have lost? I mean, all of those things taken into consideration. All right. First of all, we're going to unveil our number 1 seeded team, and they will not play until Wednesday night at 9 p.m. So number 1 seeded team is the Twisted Sisters, getting that all-important number 1 seed. I don't think there's going to be a lot of debate with that. I think it's pretty straightforward. Congratulations to the Twisted Sisters, completing an undefeated regular season for the 2nd season in a row. But they got a big mountain to climb, because there's some good teams, and we will see them in action on Wednesday night. So also on Wednesday night, the number 2 seed. And I took a lot of things into consideration here. I went back and forth on a couple of the matches, a couple of the forfeits, the wins, the losses. And Wednesday night at 10 o'clock, the second match is Mystical Storm. Mystical Storm, I'm not speculating who would win between Mystical Storm and Hellfire and Brimstone. I'm not speculating. That's why we play the tournament. I'm not speculating who would win between Manic Mayhem. The reality is this. Mystical Storm was 5-1. They had one loss to their record. They had a great point differential. And they beat the Masters of Faith. That head-to-head matchup was important for seeding. So Mystical Storm will play Wednesday night, and they do get a first-round bye. All right. The number 3 seed is Dimes and Tank, Manic Mayhem. If they would have been able to play the other night, and if they would have gotten a win, I would have had them as the number 2 seed. They finished out the season at 4-2. The other night was a big, big forfeit for them. It happens, but they are still right there, the number 3 seed. We will not be seeing them in action until Monday, July 13th. So Dimes and Tank have a week to scout out the competition. Monday, July 13th. So 1 week from Monday, we will see them in action. All right, here's where it gets a little bit interesting. The number 4 seed goes to the Outlaws. The Outlaws ended up at 3-3 with 2 absolute nail-biters. Very easily could have been 5-1. One of the most consistent teams start to finish. Nobody wants to play the Outlaws because they had a big win versus Hellfire and Brimstone. They pulled out the upset when they needed to, and we will be seeing them Monday, July 13th. Now, here's where we start to figure out who each team plays. So, coming in at the number 5 seed is none other than the Masters of Faith. Oh my God, is this going to be a good match? We are talking Monday night, July 13th, 10 p.m. The Outlaws versus Masters of Faith. What a matchup. What an incredible matchup. I am looking forward to this one. It is going to be a lot of fun when that goes down. But you know what? It gets better. It gets so good when you see some of these matchups. All right, so that's our number 5 seed. So coming in at the number 6 seed might be even better. How about Hellfire and Brimstone in the first round matchup versus Tank and Dimes? Oh my goodness, look at these matchups. Jim and Julia versus Tommy and Tammy. So that Monday night is going to be so good. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of extra knowledge because some of these nights are actually going to have 3 matches when we get to the next tournament that's coming up. Notice some of the times, and you're going to notice that on a couple nights there's 1 additional match. I'll explain that in a minute. So the Masters of Faith versus the Outlaws. Hellfire and Brimstone versus Manic Mayhem. Now, Twisted Sisters don't know who they're going to play because there's another match to get in to play them. Mystical Storm don't know who they're going to play because there's a match to get in to play them. So let's find out who are going to be our first Monday night matches happening this Monday, 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Looks like the Smiling Moons end up in the B-Dub bracket, the Mirror bracket. I did not script this. I did not see this coming. But if Kel and Moonshot are able to get the win on Monday night, congratulations, you got a date with the defending champions on Wednesday night. The Killer Bees made the big dance. Congratulations to Sheila and Busy Bee. You guys got in as the number 8 seed. Number 8. Strong record. You had the head-to-head victory versus Tin Man and Fly Rod. And that got the Killer Bees. Now, if the Killer Bees are able to advance, they got another date with Mystical Storm, and that was a good match. All right, so now we're down to the last 2 teams to get in to the tournament of 10. And then once we identify that, I'm going to give you the tournament of 4 and the dates that those matches are going to take place. And they're big matches too. In fact, on championship night, Monday, July 20th, we're going to have 2 championship matches. And it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. The Killer Bees will get the Lost Soul Sisters on Monday night. So we've got Sheila and Busy Bee versus Rocket Crockett and Trigger. The winner will get a date with Mystical Storm on Wednesday night. Rocket Crockett and Trigger versus the Bees. The winner gets to take on the number 2 seed. And this last group to get in, I looked at power rankings, I looked at scores, I looked at competition, and it really came down to Knox Landing and Tin Rod. The problem was that Knox Landing had some really, really bad luck and was not able to play the matches to give them a good sampling, whereas Tin Rod came in at 4-2, one of the best point differentials in the league. So yes, I had to give the final spot to Tin Rod, and that means that everybody in that upper left-hand corner is mirror. That is going to be the Smiling Moons versus Tin Rod. The winner will be taking on the Twisted Sisters. So that's the way it worked out based on the seeding, based on the schedule. Now, we'll come back to that in a second. But don't fear, everybody. Check this out. How about the second tournament? And look at the lineups here, and look at the nights that this is going to go down. So, Monday night, not only do we have the Killer Bees versus Lost Soul Sisters, do we have Smiling Moon versus Tin Rod, we also have Knox Landing versus Heart and Soul, the number 1 and number 4 seed in the second tournament. Amy and Villar, get your gear ready. You are moving into the tournament. Nixie and Julie J, get ready. You're going to be battling in this tournament. The winner will face the winner between Chuck and Animal and the Dark Lords of the Sixth. Dark Lords of the Sixth, super, super hot right now. You guys saw that match the other day. That will be the Wednesday night match. So whoever wins between Amy and Villar and Nixie and Julie J will go to the championship round versus the winner of Chuck and Animal and Anthony and Hippo, and they will face, they get a little bit of a break, right? That's like a week and a half break. On Monday night, July 20th, 9 p.m., we got one championship match at 9 p.m., and then we've got the second championship match at 10 p.m. So if you are not excited about PvP in this tag team tournament right now, I love tournaments. It's a little more work to put it together. I do absolutely love the bracket software that's available. Saved me a lot of time, but it keeps up with wins, losses, points differential, head-to-head matchups, and then I can populate these brackets, and I am super, super excited that the one thing I wanted to do this season, I wanted everybody to have a chance to compete in the tournament. And we are going to end up with 2 different champions, and all the hard work that you guys put in is going to come out in the competition. Anybody can win this thing. Either tournament. I'm looking forward to competition in both. And I think the one neat thing about championship night is that there's already going to be nerves, right? I think B-Dub put that in the comment with that box purchase early. She put nerves, nerves, nerves. Well, think about that. If you happen to get to the finals in Group A, you've got to watch the other match and see all the moves that everybody else is doing. So normally you might want to be like, let me just get in here, let me get this over with. Well, now you're going to be on ice for another hour watching the first one. So absolutely love it. And I think it's going to be a blast. It's going to be great lineup. Every night is going to be a whole lot of fun. Get ready. Just get ready for the tournament. Now, I am tentatively going to say July 27th is when I am targeting Faction Wars. So what's likely to happen is we'll have our championship on July 20th. We will not have PvP on that Wednesday, but we will more than likely have a stream much like this one, and we're going to talk about questions, rules, factions, all of the above, and then kick off the season the following Monday. Now, you guys have seen different battle maps. The Asylum is one of the battle maps. My goal for Faction Wars is 4v4. There will be ways that everybody plays that you'll have to sub people in. There will be people that can get the flag. There are going to be people that get points for defending. There's going to be a combination of the two of those. So there will be a lot of questions, and we'll address them on that night. And what will likely happen is night number 1 could be Mir versus Vox on Monday. Then Wednesday could be Sly versus Ark. And then likely the 2 winners will face off the next week, and the 2 losers will face off the next week. And whoever wins the 2 matches will gain control of the Asylum. And then the following week, it'll be Crowley's Farm. And we'll have Mir versus Ark, or we'll have Vox versus Sly. The 2 winners will face off the next week, and the 2 losers will face off the next week. And the winner will have control of Crowley's Farm. As you win and get control of a designated area, your faction will gain experience. So winning 2 matches in a row is going to be a big reward for your faction. It's going to help you level up faster. It's going to give your faction more perks. And after we do several different staging areas, I'm going to work on a couple things on tag team behind the scenes. And I would imagine within a month, a little bit over a month, we'll kick off season 3 of tag team. Bigger, stronger than ever. We just have a lot of fun with tag team. And Kel, that's kind of the way I see the future of Play Dead Live PvP. So Kel says, I'm excited for this tournament and faction wars to follow. Is individual, and you know, I use the word individual, but there's going to be 2 individuals. So individual rewards with tag team, because to me that's the purest form of PvP. And then team play with faction wars. And I think they'll probably rotate to where we do a season of tag team, a season of faction wars, and go back and forth. So that way it's not just about leveling up your faction, but kind of getting a break from the 2 of those. So, and, you know, giving the champions a chance to defend their titles. Whoever wins this tournament, you're going to want to see them again. All right. Wow. We covered a lot of stuff in 35 minutes. It's not bad. So let me do this. I want to do, I'll start out by doing a little bit of Q&A. So if you guys want to type your questions, comments, and then I'm going to pick a few of them. And then I'm going to bring up a couple points of combat. Some things that you guys do that I think we need to do a little bit better. Here's one of those. And I know a lot of times you're going to chalk it up to nerves. And it very well may be nerves. But there's also a little bit more than nerves. And it's sometimes you guys want to make items do what you want them to do and not what you've seen them do and what you know they should do. Case in point, the other night we had people moving, throwing bombs, summoning pets, and then trying to drop a smoke and a grenade. I mean, it was just a lot of stuff. So I'm going to make this very, very simple for you guys. Moves are 1 turn rounded down, which means I usually give you 1.5 actions. A pet summon is an action. Doesn't matter if it's instant. It is an action. It's something you do. Casting a bomb is an action. It's something you do. So, pet summon, cast a bomb, drop a smoke, and attack is how many actions? I'm going to do this a lot tonight. So summon, and it's easy. We can count them. It's 4 actions. 4 actions equal how many moves? 2 moves. So when you get to that point where you're typing 4 things, you can't do 4 things. Don't even bother typing it. Now here's the only part where I will occasionally, and I reserve the right to do this. This is not a stop the stream and negotiate it. Movement is subjective on my part. So I don't want to get into long debates on whether you moved 5 yards or 2 yards. In most cases, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt if it's minor movement. But if you are 10 to 15 yards away from somebody and you incorporate and you say, I want to hit this person with my calico, you can't hit a person with a calico from 15 yards. So you have to move into range. That movement is an action. So, when you move, Fury 4, and attack, that is allowed. But, can you summon Toxie, move, Fury 4, and attack? Yes or no? No, but almost every one of you do it. It's the truth. And that's the part of it that almost every person in the stream has done that. And I'm in the heat of battle as much as you guys are. So I'm trying to keep it to a certain amount of actions. Of course I'm going to miss actions from sometimes. You guys also have to sort of keep each other honest with the moves. Don't expect me to catch everything that you do. I am trying to look at your weapon, your item, whether the pet is attacked multiple times, whether it's a grenade that's going to hit you 2 times in a row, whether you're under the effect of toxin. I'm trying to consolidate your attacks to get them into a percentage form, to give you a number where you keep the battle going. So it happens. It happens. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying it's the reality of it. Now, the answer is almost always no. But as I just said, how many people ever heard me say in stream, okay, you're moving a little bit, I will give you that. You guys have heard me say that, right? That is not, I'm giving you that because your father Ron and you bought a bundle tonight. That's not, I'm giving you that because me and Deadly Dimes talk about the game. It's not, I'm giving you that because me and B-Dub will carry over notes. I'm giving you that because it makes sense that that move can happen. If it's slight movement, if it is ducking out from a corner, my goal for the game are twofold. One, the moves have to be realistic in a certain amount of time. Not the timer we're putting up there. Okay, if you unsubbed, why the hell are you here? Get out of here. I mean, you don't have to announce that. I can't believe I just said that in the middle of a stream. It's like, okay, unsub, go. I mean, you want a medal? I'm gonna give you a medal for being the first person to ever unsub to 999 Gaming. Not. You and about 2,000 other people have unsubbed. There's no reward for it. Just peace out. Easy. All right. I mean, no, he wasn't even subbed. I don't even know who he is. I've never even seen that name before in my life. All right, sorry about that. I was in the middle of a story, and just look, you don't, and I'm not trying to, combat rudeness with rudeness, but just don't come in here and be rude. How about that? And then we don't have anything to debate or argue over. It's like, yeah. Okay, anyway. I don't know I've ever done that in a live stream. Maybe I have, but it's very rare. So if you've heard me say before, I'll give you that move, it's me trying to piece together distance, attack, common sense, does it all flow within the gameplay? Also, if there's something that you may have to climb, if there's something that you may have to, if there's a terrain that I feel is a terrain that is going to affect you or affect somebody else, I'm taking all that into account. And then you probably heard me say, nope, you're not going to do that. And that's me kind of looking at, well, you just tried to climb 2 flights of stairs, summon a pet, drop a smoke, and throw a grenade. You probably can't do all of those things. So the thing to keep in mind, 3 actions, but there's still gray area. And the gray area is this. Certain types of potions are not full turn potions. Some movement will take more time, more energy than others. And what can you do when you revive? So let me give you this as an example, as a visual. Okay. I look at a Fury 4 as taking a shot of vodka, right? Quick shot of vodka. And I'm ready to fight. Quick shot of tequila. Actually, you know what? It's not the first time I've done that. I got a request to read the walk. Did you guys ever see that? Or do you guys remember that? I got a request to read The Walking Dead unedited. No melon farmers. And I did. And I think I got more likes on that than videos. People were like, yes, that was the greatest comic book read ever. They loved it. I don't know. My mom doesn't love it. I'll tell you that. Which is why. So, all right, I was driving one time, and my mom was in the back seat. It's my brother, my mom, and somebody cut me off. And I might have told you guys this story. But spur of the moment, the guy cut me off, and I was like, you asshole. And I look up in the rearview mirror, and my mom is just giving me like this glare. Like, I cannot forget it. I cannot erase this look from my mind. And it's almost like every time I want to say something, I see her eyes in my rearview mirror. It's not a good thing. So, yeah, it's always kind of stuck in my mind. Now, look, do I do it? Yeah. Do I type it sometimes? Do I get angry? Mods will probably tell you, like, they probably read a few things that might not be YouTube appropriate. But, yeah, I do try to keep it under wraps for the most part. Especially verbally. All right, anyway, there's the story. There's my mom's story. So we'll get a few, I want to get a few more questions because these are going to come out in the tournament. So again, remember, activation, Father Ron, Amanda, Mirror Mask, Vox Mask. How many actions is that? How many actions is a mask activation? Half turn. Half turn move. So that means you got two more actions. So, Amanda, you could activate the mirror mask, summon a pet, and drop a smoke. That's 1.5 actions rounded down to 1. Can't attack. Attacks are full turn moves. So let me go back to the Fury 4. And this is the gray area I'm talking about. Okay? And it's a big mistake. Summon a pet. Fury 4. Throw a grenade. Is that allowed? Summon a pet. Fury 4. Throw a grenade. And if you say yes, tell me why. Exactly. Bonnie says we do allow it. But it's not allowed. It should not be allowed. And it happens so often early on, I let it play out for the whole season because it was a common move that everybody was doing. A grenade is an attack. It's a one-turn attack. A pet is a half-turn move. And enrage is a half-turn move. It's 2 turns, rounded down to 1. It was happening by everybody. I didn't address it because everybody was doing it consistently. Nobody was not doing it. Summon, grenade. Now, here's another common issue. You're 30 yards away from your opponent. You want to run in, throw a grenade, and pop a Fury 4 potion. Run in, grenade, Fury 4. In most cases, I will allow it. And I don't mind this question being asked. This is the gray area when we talk about movement. If it's a natural cycle. If you're 45, 50 yards away from your opponent, then no. If it's close, and I say, all right, you 15 to 20 yards, I usually won't split hairs over something like running in, throwing a grenade, and taking a potion. Grenade explodes. It has range, fragments. It's one of those things that when I judge it, I'm going to judge it consistently. So if it's one of those nights where I feel like the map is a little bit of an odd map and maybe it's something along those lines, that's one of the areas I don't know because distance is subjective for me as well. Look, some of the distance when you guys ask, I don't have the exact amount, and sometimes it's going to be like, okay, that looks like it's a lot more than 30 yards. No. Running into range, and here's why I want to bring this up. It's the same thing with a pistol. Realistically, okay, let me give you an example. Realistically, do you think you could run in and throw a grenade and get it close? Or realistically, could you run in with a pistol and fire a pistol? So I'm probably not going to call you out on 2 or 3 yards. Now, realistically, can you run in full speed and take out a rifle and get a perfect shot? Probably not. Or realistically, can you run in full speed and fire a bow by running? Probably not. When you get into sniper actions, and especially sniper actions that are high damage, I'm a little more particular about those activities. So for example, I would prefer you be in sniper range if you're going to cast a pet, use a potion, and fire. See what I did there? You can't. But you do. So what we've had happening is cast a pet, take a potion, fire a shot, and move. And then at that point, it's a whole lot of stuff going on. So if I'm going to give you slight credit for the movement, we've got to kind of stick to our guns and get back to what is allowed. It doesn't matter, and I'm going to go back to what Moonshot said a minute ago. It doesn't matter if it's instant. Instant just means it's happening without being countered. It also means you can't do anything about it. You can't stop the pet summon, so that's why it's instant. And it's usually taking precedence over other things. Unlike a smoke, you drop the smoke, it's going to sit there for a little bit. Now, if Deadly Dimes is at 35 yards, will I let her scooch in 4 or 5 yards and fire a shot? Sure. I don't have a problem with that. I'm okay with slight movement, but don't look at it as trying to get a leg up by doing it. If I see it happening and you type a move, I may say, you know what? That's close enough for me. I'm okay with that move happening. Let's get the move down, and then your opponent's going to deal with it and move on. Because in most cases, very, very rarely have we ever had a match where somebody said, I'm at 32 yards, I'm backing up exactly 4 yards. That's not the intent of the game. The intent of the game isn't to... There's 2 things that I want to drill home with the game. Range is never meant to be an exact. And health totals and damage are never meant to be an exact. Unless you are the world's greatest sniper, you don't know that you're exactly 30 yards. All right, case in point. How many people can tell me exactly down to the inch of where you're sitting right now and how far the closest door is from your chair? So this is what I want you to think about. Now, if you've measured that in the past, you're going to be like, okay. If you haven't, and you answer the question honestly, you have no idea. And when you go through the game is not meant so you get caught up on being, I am 31 yards and 6 inches away from my opponent. It's meant to be, are you in range? Is there some action about to take? I get it. But here, those of you that know it exactly, find something you don't know exactly and then do that. And then you'll kind of get my point of what I'm saying. So range is very, very difficult to calculate on the fly. Spin around 3 times, walk in the first direction after you spin around, take 5 steps, spin around again, take 2 steps, and then open your eyes and then immediately tell me how far away from you are from the door. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, we had somebody say in a match the other night, I thought that hit for this. Don't. Here's why you can't and you will not ever get damage down to the last final hit point. Anybody here ever been in a fight? I'm not condoning you fight anybody. Anybody ever been like in a physical altercation? Okay. In that physical altercation, Did you ever have to hit that person more than one time? Have you ever been in a physical altercation that you had to hit somebody twice? Did you know going into that altercation that you were going to have to hit them twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, or 1 time? I mean, I was in an altercation one time, and it ended fast, luckily. And I was a little surprised. I was younger, but I was a little surprised, like, hey, I thought that person was going to be a little bit, so it goes both ways, right? That's the way damage works in PDL. It's not Call of Duty. It's not, we're fighting this dragon, and I know exactly the amount down to the last attack that I have to do. There's way too much of that out there. We're not that. And because of that, that is one of the deciding factors of how I wanted to conduct the game. In some cases, gear will be close and you'll get some consistency. In some cases, it won't. In some cases, a TS-20 is going to hit Nixie for 25. TS-20 might hit Julia Muse for 15. And in a lot of cases, you have no idea what your opponent is wearing and how they're glyphed and how they're gemmed. And you don't know how much of it is going to be exactly reflected, negated. So all of those things are factored. And that's exactly right. And I think, that's the part, and I know a lot of you guys have get this, but especially new players, that's the point that OU's saying. When I tell you that someone looks dazed and I see that you guys have done really, really well with the boss battles. Like, hey, the boss is reeling, let's hit him harder. And then you guys ramp it up, and usually you win shortly after that. Or somebody looks rejuvenated. So those things, just keep those in mind as we go through this tournament. Keep the game flow moving fast. There's going to be winners and losers, and it's going to be the same thing when we get to Faction Wars. Faction Wars are going to be fast. They're going to be furious. I'm not going to have time to stop and explain why your old Yeller only hit somebody for 8%. And yesterday you used it and hit them for 15%. There are very few matches that ever go down to that small percentage point. And there's so many different things that can speed the match up and better gameplay. And we're going to focus on the gameplay, the chess match, what you can do to stop your opponent. All of those things will win the matches for you. So I'm going to like I said, we'll do a little bit of Q&A. I wanted to keep this slightly over an hour. I know you guys got stuff to do. We're right on the verge of Independence Day. We're not doing anything tomorrow. You see the schedules up on the screen. You guys know who you're facing, when you're facing. Take a screenshot. That schedule is going to be our schedule for the next couple weeks. So after tonight, there shouldn't be really any questions of, I didn't know I had a match tonight. I mean, this is it. Single elimination. Your team shows up, and you guys play well. You're going to advance. You come up, you have an off night. You're probably not. The teams right now are too good to take a night off. You can see, look at that first round matchup. I mean, Ron, Football, Will, and Ray. If I wasn't judging that match, man, I'm telling you, I would be in the front row eating popcorn watching that match. And Dimes and Tank and Julia and Jim have had some great matches. So for them in the first round, it's going to be incredible. What's up, Fluff? Hey, happy 4th to you too, my man. And, hey, Dal just showed up. I mean, Dal's got ears, right? Dal, the word on the street is you guys might be seated a little bit too high for what you're capable of. What would be your response to that, Dal? I mean, number 2 seed, brand new partner, 5-1 record. Are you guys cupcakes or did you guys earn it? I mean, I'm just talking. There's probably going to be some trash talk coming up very soon. Amanda, PDL Binder and I are working OT. Absolutely. Get those PDL binders updated. There you go. So, look, hey, be ready to throw it back. You know what? The cool thing about Monday and Wednesday night, you got a chance to shut the critics up. This is the tournament. You go out there, you play hard, you get the win. Some people are going to think, hey, this person should have been rated higher. They should have been rated lower. In the end, when the smoke clears, the best team's going to be sitting there. Doesn't matter what your path is to get there. If you're the best team, you're going to demonstrate it. If you're not, you won't. You'll have something for every team that's out there. Heart of Nixie. Playing the other night, other team had no deaths. We had one. Match almost over. I did not want to kill the other player on the team and allow a res and restore. Should we have killed to make it closer? Nixie, there's a lot that goes into that question. There's a lot of things that depend. So, I don't have a problem with either. There are some people say, hey, look, we play to the end, and I'm going to try to get all the points I possibly can. There's some that are going to say, hey, look, we're in a good spot. Now, the reason I say this is subjective is Bonnie says I would go for the kill. But I'll give you a different scenario which she may not. Let's say Bonnie's 5-0. And they're in their last match of the season. And both of their players have good health, and they've killed one player, and they're on their last move. I would say in most cases, you probably don't kill the player when you know that you already got the win, and it's not going to make any difference in your ranking, your season, or anything else. I think being able to balance playing to the end with sportsmanship or using items. Now, if it's last move, you might say, who cares? They don't need to res and restore anyway. Just a couple grenades. So if you want to blow the inventory on that, that's another scenario. So I would say it kind of depends on the moment. If I'm losing and I think I could lose 7-3 and maybe this kill on them, I'm still going to lose, but we lose 6-4, then I'm probably making that move more so early in the season than late in the season. Late in the season, you're going to have a better perspective of what the points are, what the matches are, what you need to do. Early in the season, I say you play till the end and you get all the points you possibly can, because you might need those points. And if somebody else is like, hey, why'd you kill me? Look, this is week number 1. I need 7 points instead of 6. That would probably be my response to that. So the reason it's a complicated question is because you have to look at the match, you have to look at the situation, and you have to look at the season. So in that situation, Nixie, I would say it's hard. Yeah, because I don't want it to sound like a quitter move, but it was the last turn of your season of which you were not going to win a game, and you knew that it made no difference. That's why it's such a hard question. I understand the situation, and the reason it's a tough answer is because almost everybody here is going to say, play, try to win, do everything. And I agree with that sentiment, except for the fact you were already beat, and it was the last move of the last match of the season of which you were not going to win. Does that make sense? Now, if it were the week before and you were looking for points and you're playing it to the end, that factors in for me differently. And I don't want to spawn a defeatist mentality, but at the same time, I think you got to have a little bit of common sense as well. And I just don't think, but you don't know what you know. I mean, if there was the slightest chance that you could stay in the match or pull out a victory, absolutely. If the match was completely done, it does. It becomes a scoring question, and there's a subjective nature to scoring as well. I mean, there are things I'm certainly going to give people credit for, but a two-kill match to me does not scream 8-2 or 7-3. Look, I've seen matches go down to the wire and somebody get 2 kills on the last move or so, and it was a super close match, and I scored it 6-4. So when I'm scoring it, I'm looking at the total match and how competitive I think that match is. And yeah, that's not going to change either. There are going to be some things that you guys are going to run into that are subjective. But when you get to the tournament, it doesn't matter if you win 6-4 or 10-0. You win, you advance. During the season, yeah, you could probably push back a little bit and say, all right, kills, if I would have gotten that extra kill, we would have been, I would have gotten 7-3, we'd have had one more point, our point differential. I don't think any of that factored in to the seedings. In fact, I know it didn't, because head-to-head is really what decided all the seedings. The top 3 or 4 teams were already established based on record. Those are wins and losses. Points didn't come into play with that. Then it went to head-to-head, and then it went back to wins-loss. None of the point differentials factored into who. Now, the win-loss and the point differential a lot of times go hand in hand, but Tin Rod and or Ben and Fly Rod, They had the highest point differential, and I looked at it, but it was not the sole tiebreaker in whether or not they got in over Bones and Villar. The forfeits were a bigger factor to me than their point differential, although their point differential was impressive. They had 2 10-point wins, but they didn't play the level of competition that Bones and Villar played, but Bones and Villar didn't play a lot. That's the problem. If I would have gotten a better sampling of Amy and Villar playing, I could have made a case that if Amy and Villar would have won one more match, 2 and 3 in Group A might have been stronger than Fly Rod and Ben being 4 and 2. But they had one win, small sampling size. Ben and Fly Rod got in the number 10 spot. So there were factors that I took into account, but the biggest factor was match total. Now, like I said, Tommy's under the weather, but if Tommy would have missed a match the week before and Tammy and Tommy would have been 3 and 3, they would have been like 7th or 8th. They would have went way, way down. Same token, if they would have won their last match, I would have had them at number 2 ahead of Dal and Mist. 5 and 1 with the competition they played, I absolutely would have had them number 2. And that would have dropped Dal and Mist down to number 3, which means Dal and Mist would be playing Julia and Jim in the first round. Which, like I said, it's going to end up where it's going to end up. If the Killer Bees beat Lost Soul Sisters, then Dal and Mist are going to get them. If Gina and Trigger, and you guys got to know, Gina and Trigger, they're one of the best geared groups in the game. They just got to be on, and if they're on, they can beat anybody. It's playing the right way at the right time. All right, I'm going to hit a couple more questions, and then we're going to start to wind this thing down and let everybody chill, relax, enjoy a day off, and then we'll be back for this pack opening event on Sunday. It's going to be about an hour and a half on Sunday, and then we're going to kick into Monday. Kel, do you have a live total right now? Do you know where we stand? Just in case somebody does message us on Sunday morning. I did. I actually said scooch on purpose, Julie J. I'll steal a word every once in a while, like scooch, like kick 'em in the spinach. That was one of my favorite Walking Dead phrases of all time. Play Dead Live phrase. You guys know what I'm talking about. Play Dead Live PvP phrase is not Walking Dead phrase. Sorry. If you activate the Vox mask and drink Red Bull, oh man, you're going to be doing a lot of stuff. It's kind of like a double negative though, Ron, because you know how like you say, I ain't got, and it means you do have. So if you have wings and you get wings, it's a double negative, which means you have no wings. All right. And there you have it, everybody. 4.5 boxes left, and that's the cap. So Sunday morning, if you wake up and you're thinking you want some T2 gear, I would strongly suggest getting in touch with Kel ASAP, because my experience when we do the box opening events is 4 sells pretty quickly. Well, just do this. Before you type the move, just mentally kind of count the moves. And if you think that you need to move a little bit, then just type the move and I'll let you know. I'll say, you know what, you're too far out. You can't do that. If it's something that's reasonable, I'll let it happen. Now, Amanda asked, we'll face walkers again on Friday. I'm not going to go over what we're going to do on Friday. I'm going to say you guys are really tired from swimming because now it's going to be 2 weeks. You will likely arrive at an island and have a fun bonfire with dance videos and treasure map turn-in gifts. And I think some things will happen at some point. There you go. I mean, that's all I can really give you. But I do think this island is going to, it's going to perk up your gameplay, and it's going to be very nostalgic of what you liked about the game when we really got going in January, February. So I think there's going to be some cool things in there that it will have some player storylines. It will have some, there's going to be some player storylines because whoever has the most treasure map is going to get to choose the next chapter. So that'll be part of what you're sort of exploring on the island. But I think once you get out of the water, you're probably just going to want to hang out around the fire a little bit. And there might be some campfire games. All right. Ace baby. I don't know. Clips can have animals in them. All right, I think we've got most of the questions in. All right, last call. Any additional questions? Some of you guys are traveling. Once again, you know what? I didn't. What did you type about Turbo? Can you cut and paste it again, Anthony? Oh, hold on. I got it. So, Anthony says, kills if you use Turbo, but you stop to explain something, does the clock work for 10 minutes? That is a great question. And you know what? I hate when people answer questions this way. Yes and no. Yes, I extend it. No, you probably don't get the exact 10 minutes. Which is why I want you guys to do as much fast gameplay. My goal with Turbo is 3 rounds in 10 minutes. And that happens sometimes, and it doesn't happen a lot of times. So, Anthony, what I would say is I might extend it, but I'm not going to stop and say, hey, you got 2.5 minutes extra on your Turbo. We got too many other things going on. There's going to be a little gamble with playing Turbo, but the thing I would say is play fast. If you are using Turbo, you gotta have some moves planned in advance. All right. B-Dub just picked up more packs. I think we're probably down to 4. And we're not even on Sunday. But I am going to cap it at 15 because it is a holiday weekend. We could have ran a bigger event. And I know we haven't done big pack opening events in a few weeks. But, yeah, with the time and with everybody kind of being in vacation mode, and if we do oversell over 15, which we probably will, then my apologies that, but we're not going to open 20. We're not going to open 25. So anything we go over, I'm going to carry that over until next Saturday. Any attack is 1 turn, Hippo. So a gun is a 1-turn attack. Now, it's very possible that by the next tag team season, I reevaluate moves, damage, a few things. So I will get some feedback in the off season when we go into faction wars. Maybe we add the pet move as an instance. Maybe we don't. But for now, I just want to kind of clarify everything going into the tournament, the way we're going to manage it. So you're not going to be able to use a pet, use a potion, use an attack. You got to get back to the basics. And well said. Absolutely. Bloodfish, all I have to say, I love you guys. It's a fun game. We play this for fun. Stress and intensity may be a factor, but we can all hug and walk away at the end. So with that being said, everybody, have a safe and happy 4th of July. You guys want to see the tribute video again? One more time. One time for the road. Let's close it out with our first 2 months of tribute. And as I say to each and every one of you, have a wonderful Independence Day. Thank you for everything that you guys do. I will be working at about 6 a.m. tomorrow. So if you guys have questions, concerns, anything, shoot me over messages so I can get your inventory out. And then the rest of the evening, I'll be chilling, watching some fireworks. And then I'll be back Sunday. 2 to 3 range, Anthony. I'll let you guys know. But it's probably going to be 2 to 3 range. So here we go, everybody. Enjoy the tribute. You guys made this tribute possible. And enjoy your 4th of July. Thank you for everything that you guys do. Here we go.
You asked me to get trust in you, and I didn't, 'cause I had no clue. And I guess this is all you got, oh, empty promises you forgot. So you when I needed you, you disappeared out of the blue. You even seemed to forget my name, feeling like it was a close ocean. Oh no, been acting like my best friend. You give me treason with no end. Your two colors have come to light, and it's now free inside. Cause you just left when I needed you. You disappeared out of the blue. You even seemed to forget my name, like it was a coast for shame. Oh, nah, nah. So are you when I needed you? You disappeared out of the blue. You never seem to forget my name. Feeling like I was a ghost for shame. For sure learned my lesson here about the people who really care. I'm living that I won't forget. All the ones that took their back on me. No.